When you change the things that you focus on, the things that you focus on change. Guys, we're talking all about focus. Let me say that again. When you change the things that you focus on, the things that you focus on change. What the hell do I mean by that? When we look at this idea of focus, a lot of you guys are getting up, you're sticking within your program, you're doing the same things, good and bad, right? Getting up, going to work, eating the same things, watching the same things on television, having sex with your wife the same way every time. All of these things is what's keeping you stuck because you're not focused on the things that you want to get out of life. You're not focused on the kingdom ahead that you want to build. You just keep focusing on the things in your life that you are unhappy with. And for me, being completely transparent with you guys, this past year has been a bloodbath, particularly in business. And it doesn't mean that business is bad. It doesn't mean that it's great, but this past year has just been a gauntlet when it comes to business, through, bad employees, maybe, we've had some difficult patients or stuff like that. We obviously moved our clinic last year. And so we are planning for expansion, right? We moved into this massive clinic saying, hey, like we intend to grow. We are going to grow into this space. We're going to get a space big enough that we're not going to have to move again in 3 years. And that in of itself has been immensely difficult. The past year personally, it's just been difficult for me. And what I'm realizing after getting through the past year and not being in a place where I feel like I'm thriving, where our business is thriving, where my coaching group is thriving, where my family is thriving, I'm realizing that a lot of time in the past has been spent on having the improper focus, right? I wasn't focused on, hey, this is where we're headed. No matter what fucking happens, this is where we're going. I wasn't focused on, hey, how do we build this more, build this better, whatever it is. I was focused on the wrong things. I was focused on all of the things that weren't happening. I was focused on, hey, like maybe numbers are down, or hey, maybe this employee's giving us problems, or hey, whatever it is. My focus was in the wrong area. So how many of you guys are not focusing on the right shit? I know that you're not, because I know that I'm not. And I know that I'm not because I pay thousands of dollars every month to coaches that help me grow. You guys understand that? These guys online, these influencers online, these coaches online that look like they have it all together, guess what? They fucking don't. And they sure as hell are not doing stuff like this, telling you guys the real deal. They're not going to open up themselves to criticism and say, hey, I've been fucking struggling. Hey, this past year is fucking hard. They don't do that because you know why? Because they don't sell. But their focus, their mindset is actually wrong. Because I pick my coaches a very certain way. Like the guys that stand up and say, hey, I fucked this up. I messed my marriage up. I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Here's what I did to correct it. Those are the guys that I hire, not these guys that are renting Lamborghinis and pretend to have everything that you want to draw you in. And that's how I end up coaching. I end up coaching similarly to this. But my focus for the past year has not been on point. And yesterday I was on a call with my coach and we were talking about anger. And man, have I been an angry motherfucker lately. I have been so angry. It's been 5+ years since I've been in this state of anger like I have, right? And it's not so much about being angry that's the problem. It's about how I've handled it and how I've, maybe handled it poorly. And so we're talking about anger and he's like, Paul, do you realize that anger is really meaning that you are fearful? And that's when it hit me. I was like, holy shit, like you're so right. Like when I show up in anger or I act out in anger or whatever, it's really because I'm fearful. And and that fear tends to take us to a negative path, right? How many times have we had a problem in our life where like we thought it was the end of the road? Like we thought we're going to lose everything. Everything's going to fall by the wayside. All this stuff, it's going to be as bad as can be. And then we get through it and it doesn't happen. But we have to change our focus. And how do we do that? When you change the things you focus on, the things you focus on change. Right? First things first, you woke up today. God gave you another day on this planet. Why are you not focused on that? Second thing, you have a beautiful wife that loves you. There's another thing. You have wonderful kids that look up to you. There's another thing. You have a house over your head. There's another thing. You can feed your family. There's another thing. You can go on vacation. There's another thing. You have a business that people come and pay you to solve their problems. There's another thing. Instead of, this isn't working. This sucks. This is hard. This is miserable. I'm angry. Do you guys see the difference? Do you guys understand the impact that could have on your daily life? And I believe that a lot of people, including myself, tend to go to negativity a lot. And some of us have to work harder to not be in that mindset of negativity. Like, have you ever ran into a guy who's just the happiest motherfucker you've ever met? And you're just like, wow, like I wish I could find that, right? And I constantly try and figure that out for myself. But you got to change the things that you're focused on, because if you continue to get up day after day and focus on the things that you don't have and the things that aren't working and the things that are difficult and the hard things, you're going to be a miserable motherfucker. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to show up in fucking power, guys. And that's ultimately what this is about. As men, we need to show up in power with clarity. And we let all these little bullshit things take our power. You have a shitty coworker? Yep, they're going to take your power. Why? Because it frustrates you. You have a situation happen that's not ideal, that you didn't want to deal with. You're going to let that take your power. And guys, it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle to stay away from the things that you 100% could focus on and be in a negative way. And then one day you're going to be like, why the hell is nothing fucking changing? Why can't I just catch a fucking break? Maybe you cry to God and be like, God, what the hell? Right? You're not focusing on the right things. You're not practicing gratitude, which is a whole other thing. So check your focus. Where's your focus at right now? Instead of going to the gym and just working out and doing it consistently, you're focused on the emotion that I don't want to do it, that I'd rather do something else. There's a big difference to those that are successful. They know how to focus, and they know how to place their focus when times get tough, and they know how to take their focus and use it as fuel. So if you're like me, which I would consider that you are, if you feel anger, if you feel anxious, if you feel shame, if you feel uneasy, sad, look at your focus. What are you focusing on every day? What does your social media account look like? Is it full of, just news feeds of bullshit and all this? What does it look like? What shows are you watching? What music are you listening to? What are you allowing your energy to take in? Because if you're constantly taking in negativity and anger and sadness and not being satisfied and all these things, guess what? You're going to be that person. So guys, check your focus and adapt accordingly and do this every day. Dominate daily.